Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second community call. I can see there's quite a lot of you already, so maybe we're going to start. Let's not keep you all of you too much, take too much of your time. The goal is to last not more than 1 hour. So at 7, if we're not done, we'll stop. If we can stop beforehand, good for everyone. Not to take 2 hours of your time. It's just to give you a brief update on what we've been saying and what we wanted to show you. Okay, so just to begin, we launched officially the protocol 2 weeks ago exactly, almost hour to hour. We're pretty happy with the current state of the protocol. There were no major bugs, there were no hacks, so it means everything is working accordingly, which is always good. You never know what can happen in IT. So, just to give some stats so you guys have an idea, because we haven't created a dashboard yet, you can already have a look on DeFi Llama. We're looking to integrate with Zapper, Zerion, and Dbank. We're going to do that very soon. Right now, we have around $11.4 million of deposits, which are around half in Uni, and then we have a quarter in Comp and a quarter on Aave. Half of the pool is on Aave, and the other is on Stake Aave. So that's the basic gist right now of our distribution. And this means that in around all of these pools, like for Uni, for Comp, and for Aave, we can already loan around 10% of proposal power. So we are convinced that we will have critical mass in terms that it will become very efficient and very functioning once we actually reach at least proposal power for each of these governance systems. So this would mean around 100 million TVL, which is ambitious, but we are convinced that in the next few weeks of roadmap, this is something we can achieve. In terms of loans, as you can see, and that's why we're talking about reaching critical mass of proposal in terms of deposits, we only have 14 loans. Most of them are small, and 9 of them are still active. So this means that as of now, there aren't any huge APY. Because right now, the deposits are not enough big to attract large enough loans, which is totally okay. Our whole goal in the first few weeks of Paladin, which means between at least around 6-8 weeks, is to basically attract all of these loans. So the APY will come in. What we have created is that the first 4 weeks of Paladin is what we call the summoning period. The first 2 weeks were about marketing and releasing the protocol, so now it's done. Now we don't want to hide the APY, so we're going to update the UI. I don't know if my front end already had time to update it on IPFS, but we're going to show you in the next slide. Yep.
It's updated. Just everybody can refresh their. It takes a little bit of time to update on every DNS and stuff, but if you're lucky enough, you'll be able to see your IPY on your deposits.
I mean, I took a screenshot and put it in the slide so people can check it already. Right now, it's not super big, but the whole goal is basically growing the pie, which means attracting more loans, which means also creating new pools, etc., etc., etc. So wait, I'm going to go to the next slide. Oh yeah, something that's pretty obvious. We took a snapshot just before this call, and we will take another one in 2 weeks. So there was one snapshot that was taken at the middle of the summoning period, and the next one will be taken in 2 weeks, and you guys will see why we took that. So right now, this is what our APYs look like. So as you can see, we have 4 pools. Some of them are low because there's very little loans. Some of them are a bit higher. Pal Stake Aave is a unique one because it's composable, which means you have the Aave loans, the Aave yield, plus the yield from Paladin. So anyway, we have a better yield, and we auto compound that what you can do with Stake Aave. And we're also officially the only place in crypto where you can actually earn yield on your Uni, at least in Ethereum. So that's the 2 things we have going right now. We think this is going to snowball pretty quickly in the next 4 weeks because we're going to reveal quite a lot of things. So that's basically where we're right now. With 2 weeks after the release, we just reached the halfway point of summoning. We revealed the APYs, and now we're going to start talking about integrations. We're going to start building things, introducing new things. So I'm going to give the speaking baton to Alejandro, our head of community, who will introduce the contributor framework, because we've started building a lot of things, but as you probably know, to build all of this technically, we need some time to basically code it. So we also need your help, and I know some of you have been asking how you could help. So this is the contributor framework.
All right, thank you, Fige. Hi guys, name's Alejandro. Started with the team now a little over 5 weeks ago. Couldn't be more excited. I mean, this is something huge and new in the space, and very excited for what we're already doing. So one thing we've been working on, of course, besides all the social media, the comms, and the Medium articles, the usual communication stuff, is a contributor framework. Basically, we want you to join our ranks. Next slide. So the stages. So as part of our Night of the Week initiative at the mainnet, our article, we're also developing, as I mentioned, a contributor framework that allows squires to level up. I'm sure a lot of us here play World of Warcraft or other RPGs, so we're kind of just trying to go after that type of leveling up system. What we have in place right now, list of ranks, will be Squire, Wanderer, Warrior, Knight, and Paladin. The last two are still in development, but you'll see further on in the slides what we're currently working on. Next slide. All right, so each of these ranks will come with their own respective role on Discord, perks, and responsibility. Obviously, we're encouraging good governance, but at the same time, we want to gamify the system in the sense that we want you to be able to level up and show if you contribute to the realm and also you're loyal to the Paladin protocol, that essentially you get rewarded in many different ways. Details, of course, will be further fleshed out in the Medium article that will be released after this call and the Git doc, which is currently live. Next slide. So this is an example. In order for a squire to become a wanderer, that's the second level above squire. A task to complete will be to study the Git book and fill out a type form. So this is going to be no personal information, but it's just knowing general information about Paladin, showing that you already invested some time into it, proof of work, if you will. And as I mentioned before, in the Git doc, the Squire to Warrior paths will be online. And at the end of each calendar, the last day of each calendar day of the month, so this case would be Halloween, a document will be provided for everyone that is already in the leveling up stage system to be able to present their POW, proof of work, so to speak, to show that they are eligible to be leveled up. Next slide. All right, Night of the Week. So I was originally explaining the mainnet launch in our original Medium article. Starting today, we'll be naming a Night of the Week. Basically, a night of the Week is someone that has contributed to the conversation constructively, has asked questions that have been thought-provoking, and have basically furthered the mission of Paladin. This could, of course, not just be regarding conversation. It could be regarding contributions of any sort. Next slide, please. So, as I was mentioning earlier, it's adding to constructive conversation in the server regarding ideas for the realm's present and future. It'll be supporting the realm through sharing social media posts, retweeting. So, someone out there that's an influencer really likes our project, that's obviously a path. And, of course, showing a continued genuine interest and general care for the future of Paladin. Our main goal, of course, is practicing good governance, and it also applies here. We don't want people, of course, sending out information, the bots, and using that to say, hey, I'm sharing this information. No, we want to make sure that the care is genuine. Next slide. And the week 1 winner is, drum roll, G Hunter. Hope is on the call. You have won a 100 die prize. Feel free to DM me or Figa after the call. That is your prize for contributing to this the conversation this week and other parts of the protocol. Well done. You are our first Night of the Week.
Yep. There will be more contributions and gifts given with time. Right now, we're still building all of what we want, but that's basically we're going to award, as Alejandro has said, a Night of the Week every week. So yeah, that's what we have going for us. Also, something we really mean. We really appreciate the people who have been here, who have been fostering conversation, who have giving us idea, who have been participating in testnet feedback. So all of the people, we have a small algorithm running on Discord. All of the people, you can more or less see if you have reached level 2 roughly with our Mythic spot. You should be eligible to an OG member NFT. We will send, I think there's around 15 of them. We will send these just after the call. So the design was made by a French artist, which is up and rising, which is called Camille Broutin. She's She's really talented in terms of a graphic design, as you can see, and we basically have a custom design from her. Please don't trade it. It will be useful later on. But if you want to trade it, just know there's a 5% commission towards the artist. We're very adamant about blue pilling artists towards the new trend of Web3, and that's how we thought it was a cool idea of blue pilling them. Okay, so let's talk a bit more about something we have been talking about quite a lot, but we didn't want to reveal. We're going to onboard 2 assets, so it's kind of anticlimactic to say this way. We want to wait until beginning of November to actually have them officially on the platform. But the next 2 assets that we're going to onboard will be Idle Finance. We have had large chat with the core team, and we now want to start talking with them on literally on the forum. So we're going to start approaching them. And the next people we actually want to talk with are going to be Index Finance. Both of these are technically ready to implement. We just want to do this correctly by their community, come over and do a blog post like we have done for every single protocol we have integrated, and see if they have any specific questions or modifications they actually intend to have. So this will be for early November. These are the new things we're introducing. There's going to be a lot more of them in the pipe, but we prefer going slowly to be sure we're not onboarding too many tokens. It becomes too complicated to begin with. So that's in terms of tokens. Also, POAPs. I think Alejandro will manage that. We have a custom POAP that will be DM'd to you if you participate in the chat. I think I saw around 35 people connected last I checked, so quite a lot of POAPs will be distributed. Okay, maybe let's start with the chat, unless someone from the team wants to add something we haven't talked about.
That will be a no, I think. So I don't know if people can unmute themselves or if we need to for the questions. Or of course we already have like the MIA. I saw earlier someone asking about using other than DAI and ETH for when supplying or borrowing. So we're already using the OX exchange to in the Zap, and of course we want to add more options for you to Zap in the pool or pay your borrow fees through Zaps. So meaning more assets or other ways to swap your assets and stuff. So it was just a decision to use DAI and ETH in the beginning, and the same way we're gonna add more pool. This will increase and will bring more options. I know some people here might want to play around the other maybe stable coins with the meme or the RAI coin to pay the fees. It could be interesting. So we are always on the lookout and just taking our time to doing things right and have the best experience for you guys.
Okay, so we're going to start with the questions, maybe the ones at the top, and then we're going to start going down. Maybe we could start, I think, with this one. Will it be possible in future to borrow vote for a vote that is already live? So in the current design, no, and we don't want to do it. We think it's a really important design aspect of Paladin is that we respect the governance rules that were created by protocols. So the technical term is that when there's a vote that's put on chain, there's a snapshot that is taken. It basically checks everyone who's a holder at this time. And if you buy or sell a token, you can't vote with the vote that's currently live. We don't want to change this for 2 reasons. Why? It would destroy the point of actually being able to prepare for governance, because anyone would be able to buy more tokens, borrow them. And second, it becomes just a nuclear race to who gets to borrow the most tokens. So it would kind of destroy the point of governance. We have to be very careful when you're doing vote lending, because you're not trying to transform governance into a pointless battle, but trying to make it more interesting. And we think that being able to borrow live during a vote, while it is interesting and much more efficient, is also very dangerous for the governance ecosystem in general. So that's something we've talked about. We haven't planned on the DYDX asset, first of all, because it is new and it's currently being developed, and 2, because we don't see currently the different governance aspect that DYDX has provided for now. So we're still looking at the asset. It was also asked, don't you think that Paladin will make the Reach VC even more powerful? So this would be, and they already have more governance token, but they can also borrow more voting power. Okay, so we could see Paladin as a leverage voting strategy, of course. The interesting part about it is that what you're using to leverage, you are redistributing it to other users. So in a way, at worst, you'd be basically boosting yourself for a vote and liquidating yourself for the foreseeable future. That's the worst part. The most important part is that vote lending is not the final thing we're building. What we're trying to achieve is minority holder coordination. In order to reach that, the first building block we wanted to activate was liquid governance. So that's why we started by vote lending. Okay. Next question. The question about adding more tokens in terms of price was actually answered beforehand. The title of the soundtrack, it was added. Yeah. Could you please share the thinking behind identifying tokens to be added? Yep. Okay. So right now our thought process is quite easy. Just for Paladin lending and what's coming, we're basically looking at tokens that have delegations enabled. The easiest model is the one that was created with Governor Bravo, which are the biggest one we're looking at. This is on the technical side. On the, I wouldn't say philosophical, but fundamental side, what we're looking at are large enough governance that have contested votes, which means it is interesting to loan them, because of course Paladin is not going to be interesting if people don't want to borrow the voting power. So that's why we have focused on the biggest governance right now. That's the first thing. And the second thing we're looking is a governance that is aware and has countermeasures against vectors of attack. So that's basically the two things we have been looking at right now. There are more intricate details, but these are in broad chirps our thought process. We look at the technical, if it's feasible, and know that there are new dApps that are going to come out that will enable us to support a lot more different governance systems. Right now, we can support Governor Bravo, any protocol that has delegation, and Snapshot when the delegation model is enabled. These are the ones we can support, and that's already quite a lot of protocol. So that's how that's our current thought process. To be eligible for POAP distribution, we took a screenshot, I think, of the conversation, so we'll contact you one by one. Okay, Jay Hunter, our night of the week. We all know the gas fees are, yes, for approving and staking, they're very high. We totally agree. Would it be possible for the protocol to pay for the state fees and just deduct the fees incurred on the yield in the stated tokens? So this is not something we have thought before. The problem in such a method would be that if you stake with too small amounts, you'd basically be in debt for years. Let's say if you stake just $100 right now. So this is not something we want to happen. But it's a very interesting approach. We are thinking a lot about this because we're perfectly aware it's very expensive, most notably on the stake Aave pool. It's very expensive to deposit. We can't control gas. We know if2 will be cheaper into gas, and this will make the protocol more interesting. One really important thing is that we will probably deploy on other chains, and this will be cheaper on these other chains once governance becomes trust chain. If you look at Aave, for example, they're now taking decisions on Snapshot, not all of them, but some of them. And when they're taken on Snapshot, they're taking into account some assets that are on Polygon. So this is something we're actually looking into, and that would allow people to stake for cheaper. To be perfectly frank, the way we design Paladin is not made as a go in and go out strategy, but more as a passive yield strategy, which means you could benefit long-term from being into Paladin. So this is something we are very much looking into. We are aware yields are not high enough for this to be interesting right now. This is why we are currently looking at what we call pools V2 in the last community call, which would mean that passively the tokens not loaned would be farming into yield aggregators like Journo or Idle, for example. This is still in the works. It's going to take a few months to prepare, but the basic thing would allow us to have quote unquote the base yield on the market for these assets, whatever happens. So, but we will look into this method because it's an interesting one. Okay, Robin from Cryptost. Do you plan to give possibility to people to blacklist some ETH address if they don't want to let someone borrow his tokens because they don't have the same opinions? Okay, so this is a very important topic we have talked about. We are progressively decentralizing. The first step will be in 2-3 weeks. And this will mean we will give command of interest rate models and the pools design to the community. Something you can do is that you can create custom pools. So right now we only have one Aave pool, one stake Aave pool, but anyone could create their type of pool with the specific rule. For example, I do not wish to borrow, to loan my tokens to this address. This is something that is doable technically. We haven't implemented it because we're now focusing on very large aspects, but we would be able to do it. Okay. Oh, the next question is, so maybe we won't release a token. That would be bad, right? No, to be perfectly frank, we absolutely need to release a token for one simple reason, is that Paladin cannot work without being decentralized. And we, at least as a team, do not know how to decentralize without a token. So we will release a token. If you look at what we have showed lately and the hints we have given through this AMA, we basically are looking to release a token in the next few weeks. But you guys will see. It will happen. We have an event planned. There's a lot of things that are planned around it. It's coming. It's just not coming today. What are your thoughts on an affiliate program whereby DAO swaps Paladin tokens with other DAOs to co-promote one another and integrate into each other's platform? Okay, so this will be done by design when we release one of our next products. A big part of the way we want to distribute the token, we're talking again about the token, will happen through what we call the activism mining, which is basically proposal mining and vote mining, but on other governance system, not on ours. And basically, we believe that the biggest activists in crypto will be the DAOs, not only unique holders. So this is one way we're actually seeing. I'm not a big fan of pure treasury swaps. We have discussed about it. I'm a member of Llama Treasury, and big heart to them. They're doing something insane. But the idea is basically to have DAOs own Paladin token because we think it's extremely interesting, an interesting system. Do you need to have a partnership with the protocol which tokens are used? Oh, no, it's totally permissionless. They can't do anything to blacklist us, quote unquote. They could revolt against messing with their governance. Yes, they totally could and try to blacklist this. I think vote lending is an inevitable thing, and that's why we're trying to do it the best. The reason why we come in contact with all of these protocols is because we want to build with them, and we're trying to build what we call governance games on top of their governance, which makes them more exciting, which puts the voter turnout at a higher rate. And this is the kind of thinking we have. Our goal is to speak with the teams and the communities each time. We don't need their opinion. We just do it for two reasons. Why? Because we want to become the premier platform, and becoming the premier platform means having a little bit of class and and accepting the opinions of others. And two, it's also because if we actually start a dialogue with all of these protocols, we can push for change we actually need or hope to have to make Paladin greater in this governance system. For example, I'm not going to spoil the plans of any protocols, but there are a lot of protocols who are building the same thing as Curve in terms of gauges. This is really interesting because we're actually looking at the lending gauges, as you'll see soon. And this is not only going to happen on Curve. This is going to happen on a lot of different protocols. And the luxury we have in talking with all of the core teams right now is that we're basically already aware that these people will do it, and we can already start our business development efforts to integrate them when they release. So this is why we're doing this. And yes, a lot of alpha. Have you guys looked at Stark Vote? We have looked at Stark Vote, so I'll be honest, I am very bad, and I don't know the knowledge of my team on Starkware and the way they work. I'm very excited about what's coming on Starkware, especially the direction they're charging into governance. So we're very much looking forward to what's going to happen with them. I hope it becomes important because it will mean cheaper votes. And to be honest, we do see a bull case where there was going to be a cheaper governance chain, because right now governance on Ethereum is insanely expensive, and that's no one's a winner of this, except miners. Situational question: if I'm just new to crypto DeFi DAO, what would be your elevator pitch for me to join the Paladin Realm community? Yep. So Paladin is the protocol that wants to democratize activism. We're looking for people to start to join us to basically coordinate themselves and make normal corporate structures, but also protocols change. That's what we do. Okay. Do I see any more questions? I don't. If anyone wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself now. Can they unmute themselves? Maybe we blocked it.
They can. Just guys, if you want to unmute, let me know. If you can't, I'll take care of it. Robin has a question about multi-chain.
Yeah, multi-chain. I think we answered that. Rary Capital. Well, I have to send a message to Jay because we really want to work with Rary Capital on a lot of different things, onboarding assets, of course, but not only that. There are really cool things that we don't want to spoil that we're working on with Rary Capital, especially I would say, for example, with a few pools that take a bit of work. We need some time to develop them, but they're going to give a lot more composability to your assets into Paladin.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Okay, it seems we went around the whole AMA. Well, thank you very much for showing up, for all the questions. We might do the next one in a bit less time than 1 month, maybe in 3-4 weeks. We'll keep you guys in the loop. In the meantime, take care. Do what you do. We have developed a meme that we haven't talked about much a lot, which we call Shield. It looks a bit like the 3 the Olympus guys have. It's very different. Basically, we're governance maximalist in the sense that we believe that a lot of things in crypto can only happen because of decentralized governance. And in general, I do not think it is possible to have a decentralized tech if you do not have a decentralized social consensus on top of it. And we're convinced that if this happens, if we are right on that, it means that there will be governances sprouting on every single protocol. And yeah, this is why we should literally. It's because we are convinced of this. I see more questions. Oh, sorry for speaking too fast. It's probably hiding between my Parisian accent. People in Paris speak very fast, and the fact that we have really bad accents in English. Okay. How do we define DAOs? In my opinion, so a DAO, it's complicated to answer in the sense that a DAO is a decentralized organization. It means that a DAO is not an organization. It's not, you can't compare it to a company or an association. A DAO is just the tech infrastructure behind an organization. So it's tech infrastructure to allow any organization to be decentralized. Technically, you could come into a major crypto, normal Fortune 500 company and decentralize it, and it would become a DAO. Nothing prevents us from doing that. So that's our conviction. And how do you imagine the best early supporters we can have? So we already have them, kind of. It's you guys. But in all seriousness, we're basically looking to have a DAO and a Discord, which is already very big, of people who are very much passionate about governance, because we're really trying to change things. We're trying to contribute to what's happening. And we think there's a really good chance this starts happening because the ball has been slowly rolling down the cliff, and it's looking like a very nice ride. So just keep doing what you're doing. Okay, any more questions, guys? Yes, we will create a channel for holders of PAL Ave, PAL Uni, PAL, etc. Basically, all the depositors that will be public, but only the people will be who own these tokens will be able to token it. We haven't done it yet because we need to introduce the collab land bots, and we had a lot to prepare, especially this AMA, for example. But yeah, feel free. There's always we're always here to answer any questions you guys have. Oh yeah, what was my opinion about it? I think it's interesting because it allows users to coordinate. So it's basically crypto, and that's, I think, very important. Decentralization can only work if it becomes an enormous game of coordination. So that's what we're trying to do. With Paladin, we're trying to power up the coordination game, which means powering up decentralization. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Oh, we have more questions? I think that's it. Thank you very much for showing up, guys. Have a great day, and see you very soon.